Hi, boys and girls. I'm the Garden Grandma, and I'm here to tell you stories from the Bible. And just like a good story, we start at the very, very beginning. In the beginning, there was nothing except God, and He made everything. There was nothing but darkness, just like the night, as you see here. There was no shape in the world. It was just a big mass of darkness. There was no dry land, only deep, deep water all around. But you couldn't see it because it was dark. And God, who can do anything, had a plan. He thought, I will make a world that will be just right for people to live in. Of course, there weren't any people yet, but God was planning. He didn't just decide to make a world because He needed to make it. He chose to make it. God is love, and He wanted to make something for someone else to let them know that He loved them. The first thing God thought was, I must do something about all of this darkness. And because of God's power, all He had to say was, let there be light. And when He said, let there be light, suddenly there was light. And you could see all of the waters. Now, because there was light, it was bright everywhere. And God called the light daytime, and the darkness He called nighttime. And God knew there had to be a daytime so that children could go outside and play. But there also had to be a nighttime so that children could rest and not be tired. It is good, said God, and He was very pleased. God made all of this happen on the first day of the creation week. Now the second day, God separated the waters, and He made a sky above and the water below. And He called the sky above heaven. And He called the water below earth. Now, God looked at all the deep, deep water, and He couldn't see one bit of dry land. God knew He was going to make people, and they would need plants and trees. And once again, God only had to say it. He said, let the water gather together so that dry land will appear. And God spoke, and it happened. And dry land appeared. And water came together and made big oceans and seas and little streams and even lakes and ponds. And now there was land, enough land for cities and towns and places where people could live. There was enough ground to make big mountains and little hills. And God called the land earth. And the waters He called the seas. And that was the third day. God looked at it and said, it's good, and He was pleased. So the next thing, He said, something's still missing in the sky. I know what I'll do, God said. And He put a big round sun in the sky to shine down. And that would be our daytime. And at night, He put a moon with stars so that at nighttime we would have light too. Now, the next day, on the fourth day, He started to make trees and plants, and He made bright colored flowers. And He made big trees, and He made fruit. And fruit He put seeds inside of, so that after you eat the fruit, you can plant the seeds and have more trees and make more fruit. And some seeds grew into apple trees with big juicy apples, and some seeds grew into cherry trees with ripe red cherries. And some seeds grew into vegetables like carrots and pumpkins. And some seeds grew into pretty flowers like daisies and pansies. That's why they call me the garden grandma, because I love my flowers. So God looked at what he had done on the fourth day, and he said, "It is good." And he was pleased. Now, God had made the sky with fluffy clouds. Aren't they pretty? And a bright warm sun. But there were no birds to fly in the sky. So he looked around and he said, "Let's make birds." And he made birds to fly in the sky. And some of them sit in trees. And he looked and he said, "Well, now we have trees and we have birds, but we have oceans and there's nothing in them." So he decided he would make fish to swim in the oceans. And he made lots of different kinds of fish to swim in the oceans. Stay in there, fish. That one wanted to jump out of the water. And after he'd made all kinds of birds, even cardinals and bluebirds, and he even made beautiful swans that want to stick to me too. And that ended the fifth day, and God was pleased with all the things that he had created. And he did all this so that when he made people, they would enjoy his beautiful earth. Everything is very good, God said. We'll never know exactly how it was all done, but the Bible tells us that God just spoke and it happened.